Today, I actually have a lot planned to share with you. I know I try to keep these videos short, but I want to kind of pack a lot into this one video because when it comes to blush, there are a lot of questions that have been coming up. I thought, well, why not just do one video to answer everybody's question? So today I'm going to actually cover what blush colors look good on different skin tones. I'm also going to cover how to apply blush for your actual face shape. And then I'm going to go over what brush to use and the technique on how to apply blush. So I almost could do this in 3 videos, but I thought why not just do it all for you guys today. So if you have anybody that wants to learn all these things, make sure to share the video. Why don't we just dive right on in? So when it comes to blush colors, I mean, just alone, like I carry over 30 different blushes. So I know it can be a little overwhelming. And so many women are like, well, I don't want to wear blush because I don't want to look like a clown, or I don't want to put too much on, or I don't know how to apply it. And you know, based on your face shape, you can apply blush to actually enhance things a little bit more, because that's really the goal with makeup, right? So that does play a factor. So I think that so many times people are just like scared to use it, so they just don't. So if you have fair skin, you want to go with blushes that are more of like a soft pink, light coral, and like peachy tones. So anybody with lighter skin can't really go wrong with like a cool pink toned blush. So for instance, let me actually just show you an example of that. So this would be, oh gosh, this is not really gonna show up. This would be a cooler pink, lighter blush. So this would be great on more of a fair skin. So if you're really not sure, this would be perfect. But if you're someone whose skin tends to be more like the palest of pale, like really, really pale, then you wanna opt for a formula that's got a little bit of iridescent or like shimmery properties to it. And that's going to kind of brighten it and warm your complexion. Here's the rule of thumb that a lot of people don't realize. So obviously blush comes in cool tones, warm tones, and neutral tones, right? And so for those with fair skin with cool undertones, what you can do is wear like a soft pink shade for more of a natural look. And using soft pink blush will kind of give you just more of that natural look, but if you want to have it pop a little bit, then you can go with more of that peach or coral shade, which it would be this color. I'm gonna post an article with the actual colors because I think it's gonna be really hard for you to see. So now if you have fair skin with warm undertones, wearing like a peachy coral shade will give you a natural look, and then going with the opposite and using more of a soft pink shade, that's gonna give you the pop of color. So if you have warm skin and you use a warm tone blush, it's gonna look natural. If you have warm undertones in your skin and you use a cooler blush, that's gonna give you a pop of color, and vice versa. And so now let's move on to medium skin. So if you have medium skin, you probably tend to have more of a green or yellow undertone, and you have to be careful with that because it can look a little bit more sallow. When you have a medium skin tone, try like more of a rich pink, warm mauve, and a deep peach blush shade. So example of that would be this. Oh, maybe you can see it if I go like that. This would be kind of a mauve-y shade, kind of more of a deepy peach shade. You can see how dark that is. So if you have cool undertones and a medium skin tone, you should wear the rich pink or mauve shades for a natural look, and then you should wear deep peach shades for more of that pop of color. All right, so those with warm undertones should wear deep peach shades for a more natural look, and rich pink mauve for a more pop of color. So you see where I'm going with this, right? All right, so now we're on to deep skin. So very deep skin tones need bold, intense red pigments. Okay. With deeper skin tones, and like, you know, they can be warmer, they can be cooler, but anything too light or milky will look too ashy on the skin. On deep skin, anything too dark, like plums and burgundies can kind of make it look like it's bruised like. So we don't really want that either. So a super vivid, almost fluorescent red blush may seem a little bit crazy, but it actually translates to a bright, fresh, and natural on deeper skin. So don't be afraid, ladies, to use more of those intense pigmented products on deep skin. So if you have deep skin and you have more of a cool undertone, wearing a fuchsia or light berry shades will give you a natural look, and tangerine hues will give you a pop of color. But if you want to make it look more matte as well, so don't really go with more of like the shimmers on darker skin. That's more for like very fair skin. All right, if you use anything with shimmer, it can just look too reflective. Now, I'm not talking about if you want to go with a little glow for some highlighter. That's totally different. We're talking blush colors right now. So those with warm undertones should wear the warm brown or tangerine colors for a natural look, and pinks and berries to give a pop of color. Okay, so I did have a blog post where I gave actual suggestions of colors that you can use that I actually have available. Talk about 5 blush shades that really do look good on every skin tone. So if you're still kind of unsure after reading my blog post from last week and you're like, oh, I'm just still not sure like what color I should use, then I've got 5 colors that are really foolproof, and then I have examples of what they look like on every single skin tone. All right, so now that we covered what color blush to use, I want to cover how to apply blush for your face shape. But before I do that, I actually want to go over the different brushes that you can use to apply blush. Because let's face it, I mean, I can't even show you how many brushes I have here. I've got a lot of different brushes. And you know, it can get a little overwhelming. And it's funny because as I meet with women, they just think that like one brush is all you can use for one particular thing. And you know, makeup is an art, so I always mix what brushes I use. You know, I use brushes for all different uses, so that's not necessarily true. And so when it comes to brushes, the one thing that I always teach people is if the brush is a little bit less bristles and a little bit airy like this, you're going to put less pigment on the skin, okay? So something like this is going to give you just a light rosy glow, just a very natural glow. You can't overdo it. Well, you can with like a real dark color, but this would be a great brush to use if you just want kind of that softer rosy glow. Now, if the brush is a little bit more dense like this, see how this has a lot of bristles, a lot more bristles than this brush. You are definitely going to get more intense color using a brush like this. And this is actually called a contour brush. And so this would be used for sculpting when you have a face shape where you want to bring the blush up a little bit. This would be great for a face shape that you just want to apply a little bit of rosiness to the apples of the cheeks. Now the other one that we have is for like a classic application, we have a blush brush, right? So you've probably all seen this. Now, blush brushes can be domed. They also can come kind of in like a cone in the center. So I really do prefer a brush that's a little bit more domed because you can actually get a little less product and blend it a little bit easier than the cone shaped brushes, okay? So this would be a classic blush brush. And so far we've got kind of a stippling brush, we've got a contour brush, and then we have a classic blush brush. The next brush I'm going to talk about is a fan brush. And a fan brush puts even less product on the skin. So what I love to use this for is when I'm doing a little bit of highlight on the top of the cheeks, but like highlighters can be certain blush colors with a lot of like iridescent pigment or shimmer in them. Now, could you use other brushes besides these 4? Yes, absolutely. But these are going to be the most popular brushes that I like to use for blush. All right, so now that we have the brush out of the way, I want to talk about blush application according to your face shape. I actually, when I wrote my article about this, I realized that a lot of people probably have a hard time determining their face shape. So one of the things you can look forward to this week is I'm going to be publishing an article, how to determine your face shape. And I even give you tips on not only on looking at your face shape, but also how to measure to find out exactly what your face shape is. So once you measure it, you won't have any question about what is my face shape. Of course, I only go over the real basic face shapes, and you can have variation of such, but it's good to sort of know, like, for the most part, what your face shape is. So make sure that you do follow my article on Wednesday, because if you don't know your face shape, you really should know that, because not only is it going to help you apply your makeup as far as contouring, eyebrows, blush, you name it, it's going to make a big difference. And also, guys, if you're going to be picking out like glasses or whatever else. Alright, so let's go over each face shape and how to apply the blush. Now, I'm not going to actually apply the blush yet. I'm going to show you the motions that you would use for each face shape, just because I want to apply blush at the end for my face shape, using the color that you guys think would look best. Alright, so starting with oval. Oval is considered like the perfect face shape. And honestly, like, everybody should be applying your makeup in the end to sort of be more like an oval face shape. So we can actually apply makeup to sort of make our face look a little bit different in that sense, okay? So with oval, you want to start at the apples of your cheek and sweep up toward your temples. Now, anytime we use our blush brush, we actually want to hold it kind of more at the end of it, at the tip of the brush, because this we're going to actually be able to move it a little bit more and be able to blend it. If we hold it like this, we're going to get a little bit more like pigment on the skin, and it's going to be harder to blend out. So with blush, we always kind of want to start softer and blend it, especially with the blushes I use. They're very pigmented, and you can use too much. I'll be honest with you, you can use too much. Now, I want to tell you a tip though. If you use a liquid foundation or a cream foundation, you actually want to set it with your powder first before you put on your blush, because that will help you kind of blend out that blush color a little bit easier versus just putting it on over the liquid. So I love using my HD powder or my translucent light powder, just to kind of set your makeup first, and then you'll be able to kind of blend that out a little bit easier. Okay, so for oval, start at the apple of your cheeks and sweep towards your temples. So I think that's probably the most common blush application, and that would be because oval face is what you want to get to. It's the perfect face. All right, so now let's move on to round. So a round face, what you want to do is you want to make it look more angular by applying the blush slightly lower down toward the outside of your cheeks, almost but not quite under your cheekbones. So you actually want to go more like this, okay? So kind of not like under here, but almost, so a little bit lower. So before we are up here going up, for this we're gonna actually go just a little bit lower, but not in where you put your contour, okay? So it's important. We don't use blush to contour, ladies. Gosh, I'm gonna do another video about that. All right, so that's round. So with a round, you actually want, again, to make your face look less round, which means we need to bring that blush over, right? So for a square face, we actually want to soften your jawline by applying blush on the apples of your cheek, swirling in small circles. So that would be just like this. Now, when you want to put blush on the apples of your cheeks, I'm going to show you another little trick. So instead of like going, because a lot of people do that, right? You actually want to go, do you see the apples of my cheeks a little bit better when I do that? Versus, I feel like I'm like that face yoga lady. So in order to find the apples of your cheeks, that is how you would apply the blush for a square face. So for oblong, so for those of you that have oblong face shape, or this can be also rectangle. You know, you can have a variation of each. A rectangle would be a little bit more square jaw. Oblong would be a little bit more rounded. So you're gonna make a narrow face look wider by keeping blush more horizontal and then blend well. So horizontal would be not going up. You actually want to go this way, okay? So this way. You see that angle? So you're gonna, all right, heart. So for a heart face shape, usually you do have like a widow's peak. That's what gives you that shape of the heart. And for a heart face shape, you want to soften your pointy features by applying blush in C shapes. So from the top of your cheeks to above the end of your eyebrows. So what is a C shape? We're actually gonna go like that. Okay, so with a heart face shape, you usually have a widow's peak, and then you actually have a point on your chin, okay? So those are gonna be your C shapes, like this. But you're not gonna go like this, you're gonna go like this. You know, the more we kind of swirl, the more blending we're gonna get. Okay, so now, looking at my face shape, what face shape do you think I have? You gotta always put your hair back, ladies, when we determine our face shape. Diamond? No, I'm not a diamond, because diamond would actually be a lot narrower in here. Yeah, so Heather, I'm sort of like between a rectangle and a square. I'm a rectangular and square. The length of my face is a little bit longer. A square would be if it was like even this way and even this way. But yeah, and I could be kind of more on the oval side, so I'm kind of lucky that way because I don't have to be like as careful when I apply my blush. So I'm going to sort of do it in between, where I'm gonna go like this and I'm gonna angle up just a little bit, okay? So now that we determined that, I want you guys to pick which color you think I should use. Should I use more of a pink color? Should I use more of a warmer kind of peachy color? Or should I use more of a mauve-y color? And I'm gonna let you guys choose today. Now, this can also change depending on what you're wearing and the colors that you're wearing on your lips and your eyes. You know, you can coordinate that a little bit better. I tend to use, if I'm using a cooler lip, I usually use a cooler blush and cooler eye makeup as well. Sometimes when you switch between warm and cool, depending on the colors you're using, it just doesn't always jive. So yeah, I could use pink. If I used a pink, I think I would probably use kind of a pinky like this. Otherwise, I do have this kind of mauve-y color. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the mauve today. I could definitely go with the pink, but I am wearing purpley on my eyes. I used the Jet Setter palette today, and then I have XOXO on my lips, which tends to be a little bit kind of more of a berry, and then of course I'm wearing a purple shirt. So I think I'm gonna go with the mauve today. So I'm gonna use my blush brush, and I'm just gonna swirl it in there, and do you see where I'm holding the blush brush? So, get enough pigment on there. And then what I always like to do is tap it off just a little bit so you don't have a lot of blush on there. But you can see I definitely have, you know, a healthy amount. And then I'm gonna make my little face, my face yoga face. Now, if I wanted to kind of pop that a little bit more, I could actually mix the pink and the mauve color together. So don't be afraid to mix and use more than one color. In fact, maybe I'll do that today just to kind of show you guys. You can definitely get a lot of tone that way. So I'm just swirling a little bit more. Okay, so let me layer that with a little bit of porcelain doll. So I'm going to use a little bit of porcelain doll, just kind of here a little bit. Okay, now if you put like way too much on and you're like, whoa, that's way too much, you know what? It's okay. You can actually blend it by using your powder brush. Get your powder brush out and just kind of blend that in a little bit. It's okay. So don't be afraid to put enough color on where you see it, but make sure that you kind of blend it in and see how that gives me just kind of a nice little healthy glow. Now, I have to share with you one of my favorite, ultimate favorite blush colors, because people are like, wait a minute, is that really a blush? And that is called Halo. So Halo can be used as a highlighter, but it's just like a pearl. It's a pearl color. So what I love to do with it is once I have my blush on, I will actually take my fan brush, oops, don't drop it, and I'll just kind of put my fan brush in there a little bit, and then for my fan brush, I'm just gonna go on the tops of my cheekbone, and then I'll actually put just a little bit here. So when the light hits it, it just kind of gives you just a little bit of glow. Beautiful. I used this on my bride on Sunday or Saturday, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, what color did you use on her? Because it wasn't like too, like, I hate that when people use like a lot of highlighter where it's like bam. This is just a very nice natural, and then you can put just a little bit on your Cupid's bow as well. So those are like really the basics when it comes to blush. I hope that helped you guys. Like, please let me know if you have any other questions, or name one thing that you learned today or one thing that you're gonna try, and make sure that you share this video so that everybody else can learn how to apply blush as well, and they don't have to worry about looking like clowns or walking around like clowns, right? All right, thanks ladies for joining me. I'll see you all soon. Bye.